Hi, everybody, and welcome back to our Founder Spotlight video series. In this episode, I'm very excited to speak with Dawn Russell. Dawn is the founder of 8 Greens. This is a brand that has actually redefined the way we consume greens, and it's a true pioneer and innovator in the industry. So, Dawn, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, with pleasure. I'm very excited.
Great. I guess the first question I want to ask is tell me about 8 Greens. What are the 8 Greens?
Oh, the 8 green. I should have it memorized, and I never do. Um, Kale, aloe vera, wheatgrass, spinach, blue-green algae, spirulina, chlorella, and barley grass.
Well, that ensures you're getting a lot more greens than you would have if you were just trying to steam some broccoli or something like that. So
That
sounds
was
like
my
a full complement of all the greens you could possibly need. And Dawn, if you wouldn't mind, tell us a little bit about the journey that you had. I think it was a bit of a health journey that really led you to founding the company.
Yeah, so I feel like I always say I'm fine, and I apologize for starting on such a downer. Really, it truly did start when I was 25. I had stage 3 out of stage 4 cancer, and really couldn't do chemo or radiation because of a bone infection. So that, unbeknownst to me, is what really started 8 Greens. I traveled the globe for about 4 years just to end up back in my apartment in the West Village of New York, because we were talking about New York, going back to the basics of food. And greens really were the first thing that stayed in me. It was a very hard earned set of knowledge with those greens. And then once I actually had Alexander, my son, is when I really wanted to do something with that knowledge. So I had no goal of starting a company, no idea of where I was going to land. I just knew I wanted to do something with these greens to try to save people the journey that I went through. And I don't mean it in terms of a illness journey. I just mean it in terms of consuming greens.
Did you have to experiment a lot until you kind of came to the final place of the greens?
I mean, did I ever? So I knew those 8 greens. That was my beginning point. And then I had the two standards for me, which unbeknownst to me were incredibly challenging, was the no sugar and the real greens. I really wanted the greens from the farm. I didn't want anything extract, concentrate, etc. So those two challenges were unbelievably difficult. 5 years, 4 manufacturers, 264 prototypes, which I look back now and I'm like, that's insane. But I was really motivated. I was very motivated.
And were you able to do this all? Were you doing this in London or in New York?
So I did it from London, my base where I live. 2 manufacturers were in Germany, and then the two I really wanted America, just given that's obviously my DNA. I really could, I kind of knew the people at an internal gut level. So America was really my goal, and I ended up using all of our manufacturers are America, which was really important to me because I take it so seriously that I'm selling something that's going into you, your loved ones, your partners, your children. I needed to have the comfort of the country I knew really well.
What's interesting about your line is that you have these tablets, and what made you decide to go in that direction as opposed to gummies or something else for your beginning product?
For me, it all came down to convenience because I was trying to solve a problem as opposed to trying to start a company. And so with the tablet, I was trying to solve a problem of how can people get real greens in the easiest way possible. So to plop this in a glass of water and drink it and actually have it taste good. Well, A, it's why it took me 5 years and 264 prototypes, but B, I mean, I wasn't going to launch it unless it worked because that was the reason I was doing it. So the tablets were really a form factor that I would really had my heart set on because of the convenience.
What's your favorite product?
Oh God. What time of year, what day, what time of day? At the moment I'd say the blood orange tablet. I'm drinking a lot of it with cold. I was sick a couple weeks ago. We were skiing and I was just freezing and just down and out. Had a bunch of blood orange drinks like these, the tablets. But if I had to say like overall, I think I consume more gummies than I even realized.
Do you have any future plans for brand extensions, whether it's new products, any kind of collaborations, anything you're cooking up?
So we've been focusing on this launch for a really long time. It's another product. And really for 8 greens, be it the tablets for the drinks, the gummies, the lollipops, we're trying to make a family of products to where your entire family, from a man, a woman, a child with different taste buds, all has something that they enjoy. I mean, I have a 13 and a 10-year-old boy, and they like completely different products. So for me,
Hmm.
it's just like, we got to get the greens in everyone. How are we going to do it? So it was us, it was convenience, options, and of course, taste. Because if it doesn't taste good, you'll
Yeah.
do it once and then you're done. And so then why am I starting a company? Yeah.
Do you have any personal tips on health and wellness that you use yourself that you'd want to share with others?
Well, for me, I have two young children. I live in one country and work in another, which is totally insane. And so I have such little time for me. I'm sure every single person watching this is like, yes, 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 yes. So for me, all the tips have to be really, really doable. Like
Mhm.
as basic and doable as possible. So I, for example, really believe in Epsom salt baths. I mean, it's a
Mm.
couple of dollars at a drugstore and I put the whole bag in and I just soak and it just helps me detox and really feel good. I love going to health centers around the world and getting their tips and bringing it back. So I'm a huge advocate when you're making something, you do half with regular baking flour and half with spelt flour. Just things that people can do where they're not changing their lives, but just tweaking stuff here and there. Obviously, living in London, I'm a huge believer in vitamin D. Uh, and I mean, not to again, not go back on 8 greens, but greens, for better or worse, learned how powerful they were for my energy, for constipation, for everything, to be honest, my skin, you name it, that if I don't do it for a week, I feel the difference, be it a salad, be it a green soup, be it 8 greens, whatever it is. And so I don't want people to feel pressure that they have to do this, 24/7. I think it would be inhuman and not really fun to be that healthy all the time. But just I do try to get it in as much as possible.
You've got a
Oh,
lot to be proud of. What are you most proud of?
oh.
Mm.
Um, well, I mean, not to sound like every mom in the
Your
world, but
children, of course.
my children, I was, given my cancer was just so incredibly serious, they just said, don't roll the dice and have kids. And I've been dreaming of being a mom my whole life. So having them was quite a feat. And so I'm incredibly proud that I had them. But if I had to look from a professional point of view, I really am proud that we've stayed so true to our moral compass and to our efficacy. I'm very competitive by nature. So of course I just want to like beat everybody up that's not as good as we are, but I have to be a mature woman about it. And I'm just proud of what we are putting out in this world. Every day we work so hard to keep everything as safe and as efficacious as possible. And so I am proud of that. I mean, I feel like it should be an obvious, but I'm proud of that.
There's a lot to be proud of. There's a lot to be proud of. Well, thank you so much, Dawn. I really appreciate the time that we spent together, and I know our listeners will too. So thank you.
Thank you. Such a pleasure.